Lovely to talk to you. I mean, the doom mongers, the likes of Professor Neil Ferguson, who, beyond all understanding of normal human understanding, is still on stage and able to advise the government, predicted 100,000, even 200,000 cases a day very soon. Exponential growth, of course, as a result of ending those lockdown measures, step 4. Then we were told when cases went down a bit, we haven't seen the effect of July the 19th yet. July the 19th was 2 weeks ago, in terms of those figures yesterday. Can we safely say now we have started to see the effect of lockdown easing and step 4 and full release of human beings into the wild again in this country? And what a surprise, cases haven't gone up.
I think probably, yeah. And I do think also, and I probably said it to you, I've certainly said it to other people, that I was sort of scratching my head to see if I could figure out what difference actually July the 19th would make, because we were living substantially normal lives then anyway. And sure, if you make your living out of certain parts of the hospitality industry, it was a good thing to be able to be set free, essentially. But I wasn't convinced it would make a huge difference. And frankly, it hasn't.
No.
The numbers are going down. What you just said there about looking at the 7-day average is quite right. Too many people get excited by a few days data and think that sort of is a way of crystal balling this, and it's not.
No, indeed. Again, I mean, there has been, talk, the school holidays and the end of the Euros. And of course, we had good weather for a long time. People are outdoors more, lots of different things. But also, let's face the fact that an awful lot of people were already living as if it was already Freedom Day anyway, in terms of having more than 6 people in their homes. Are you kidding me? Everyone limited it to 6 for the Euros. Really? I mean, I'm not ever encouraging people to break the law, but I think we safely say a lot of people at that point were using their common sense that had been told to use. But let's talk about the plan. I mean, the rollout of the vaccines has been very, very successful. I know there are a lot of people who are still very concerned about the rollout of the vaccines. So I'm certainly concerned about them if they do ever decide to give them to children in terms of the effects there. But we're now told not only have you got to have your double jab to have your freedoms, you need your booster vaccine as well. And as of September, they're going to start rolling out the COVID booster vaccine to some 32 million Britons, so pretty much half the country. Over 50s, those who are immunosuppressed, NHS and care home staff are all going to be offered third doses from as soon as September the 6th. An awful lot of people, most people, certainly the early days, were only having AstraZeneca. So our most eldest and most vulnerable people had AstraZeneca. It's thought that the Pfizer jab is actually more effective, certainly with the new variant, the Delta variant. And so people are going to be offered the Pfizer jab. First of all, does everybody over 50 need a booster jab? What is the evidence for this? And what is the evidence in terms of the safety of mixing and matching these jabs?
I'll go in reverse there. Mixing and matching seems perfectly safe and effective. I'm not surprised by that either. I don't see why there should be a problem. There is some evidence from Israel who've extensively used the Pfizer vaccine that there is waning immunity after several months. And I think that's what the government in this country is concerned about. It doesn't want to run that risk of leaving people exposed. Our most vulnerable people will have had been vaccinated sort of 9 months hence. So really, it's a way of offering a top-up. But like any vaccination, there may well be side effects. There may well be unpleasant side effects. You and I both know about that from our own jabs. But that doesn't mean, of course, that it's going to be lethal or dreadful or anything like that. But it is offering people a top-up.
So, I mean, someone like me who's had COVID, I felt that my AstraZeneca jabs earlier this year were my top up. They were my booster in case my immunity had failed or if I needed a protection against a new variant.
Yeah.
My reading on it right now is that I don't need to go and get another jab.
I'm not quite sure whether we have any data at all on people like that. I don't think we do. I think that we'll end up in a situation where you'll still be offered a top-up, a fourth dose, if you like. And that is entirely your decision whether you take it or not.
I suppose the question mark will be whether this affects your COVID app. Now, so you're not the app, sorry, the vaccine passport for people. Now, I won't show my vaccine status within this country, but it might affect my ability to travel abroad if they're now requesting boosters. But we don't know if other countries are doing boosters. A lot of them, of course, much later with the rollout of their jabs and much lower take-up. So that's not even on the cards for them yet. They're still trying to get the first jab into a lot of people.
quite. Yes, that's true. We'll see what people say about top ups and travel and all the rest of it. That's one to come.
Mm.
But I think there are also a lot of people who say, "Oh, I think I've had COVID. I think I've had
Mm.
and they don't know. I mean, if you've been diagnosed with it, then sure, there's a record. But there still are a lot of people with no diagnosis, no
I
record.
don't have official record of it. I know I had it, and I tested positive for antibodies, a month later.
Yeah,
So and a third of the people at the same event where I caught it did actually also test positive. So, what do you make also of what's going on in America? We've seen different states opening up at different rates, and we know case numbers have risen by 70% in the last week in the United States as the Delta variant has hit. We know it's more transmissible. That is really very clear
yeah,
now, and of course it is hitting some of the states that opened up, much earlier. Say, for instance, Florida and Texas opening up many, many, many months before places like New York and
yeah.
California. The criticism of those states when they opened up early was, well, this was basically a death knell for the people. We've seen many, many months. I mean, certainly Florida, they've been open pretty much since last September. 10 months, and now they're seeing cases rise. People going, see, you shouldn't have opened up, but. It's a rather strange end of lockdown that doesn't lead to cases rising until 10 months later, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think back to May of last year when people were jumping up and down at me saying, "Well, what's going on in India? They're all right. They haven't got a problem." And there are all sorts of bizarre, stupid theories advanced as fact that India would never have a problem. We can't, I think,
No.
draw too many conclusions from the timings of these waves. They come along when they'll come along, and it's because of a confluence of circumstances which I don't think we fully understand yet.
That is a very fair summary. I wish we had more nuanced analysis like that from many of those on stage. Dr. Simon Clark, he's a associate professor in cellular microbiology at Reading University. Listen,